Hi guys, welcome to Tamina's World. So today I am going to talk to you guys about something that happened last week, which was really scary that happened to me. I hate going on about health and stuff like that, but the reality is that I do have health issues, and why not talk about it? I could help someone. I know that a lot of people on YouTube help me deal with things day to day, and illness doesn't define who you are. I'm not one to be, kicked down. I still get up and do what I need to do, work, look after kids, all that kind of stuff. So let's get into it and talk about how and what happened to me. So it was last week, I think it was Wednesday, and I'd gotten up at 5 a.m. with Zypher, and I was like super tired on the lounge. And then at about 9 o'clock, when the kids went to school and I got the kids ready for school, they went to school, and I went back to bed, and while Zypher had his nap. So I put him down and I come into bed and fell asleep straight away. So at about 10 a.m. I rolled over and looked at the alarm clock. So I sleep on this side. I looked at the alarm clock, and I couldn't lift my head from the pillow. So I was like freaking out, and I was just like, I must be dizzy or something. So I just laid back down. So thank God Darren was here, because nothing woke me. So then 1 p.m. I woke up and I still couldn't lift my head from the pillow. So I grabbed my phone and was like, hey, I rang Darren. I was like, can you come to the room? I can't lift my head. Can you help me sit up? So he come to the room. When he walked in, he was like, oh my God. He's like, are you okay? And then I was like, no, I'm not feeling good. So he helped me up, and I sat up, and he's like, wow, your face. So I'll show you the photo. 1 second. So I will get to it. Now this is a really horrible photo, so don't judge me, but this is how crook I was. So I woke up, and this is how my face looked. And if you can see that my face is drooped on one side. So that's what happened, and I started freaking out because he was like, oh my God, your face. So then I rang my neurologist, and I was like, listen, I feel my head's really heavy, and it felt like someone was like pushing me on my left side, like real hard pressure in my head. Anyway, so then he told me to take 100 milligrams of Tegretol, which wouldn't have done anything, and 2 Panadol. So I waited 45 minutes, and I still felt the same, if not worse. So I rang the neurologist back, and he said to call the ambulance. So we did. Pardon me. So we did. And then ambulance came here, and they were like really worried. My blood pressure was up a little, and I started to lose my speech. So when I was talking, I was going like stuttering. I can't even do it because it was weird what was happening. So I knew what I wanted to say, but I couldn't say it. I was a little confused, disorientated. So they wheeled me out on a chair, because we've got stairs out the back, and then I got on the bed, and then we went to not our local hospital, but our main hospital. So they were going to take me to 2 hours away, but I'd already missed the 4-hour window from when the first symptom was, which was at 10 a.m. So that's when I woke up. So if it's out of that way and it was a mini stroke, then there's nothing they can do. The damage is already done. So then we went to Nara, and I kept on trying to talk, which was really upsetting, because I think out of everything, that was the thing that was mainly worrying to me, is that I couldn't talk properly, and I talk a lot. So to try and talk and not make sense was really frustrating, and I started crying and getting really upset because I didn't know what was happening to me. So we went to our main hospital, and I went into resus for 24 hours, and they just like monitored my heart and everything like that, my blood pressure, gave me some tablets and things like that. So that night the hospital had 2 blackouts, so they were doing everything by hand and on paper. They could give me a CT scan, but then they said they don't want to do that because I've had it done a few times, and a girl my age, it can cause cancer when you get older, so they didn't want to do that, the CT on the head. So, and because the damage was already done and I was kind of stabilizing. So after like about 2 hours of being in the hospital, I started to regain my speech. I was still stuttering a little bit and slurring a little bit, but I was regaining my speech and I was starting to feel so much better. When I got up to walk, I couldn't walk real well. I was really weak. I felt really numb on these 2 fingers and the end of, so like from the middle of my toes to the pinky of my toes, I felt numb up to my calf. So I felt numb up to there, and then that I felt really weak, so I felt really weird walking. That got better, so I stayed in the hospital, out in acute ED, and then they were going to move me to the stroke ward. But then another neurologist come around and checked me, and she said everything that, you know, all your symptoms and all your results and everything point to a mini stroke, a TIA. But also she was thinking that it could have been a massive seizure in my sleep that had done that to me. So they were kind of up in the air, like what caused it. But the main thing was that I was getting better, and that was the main thing that they were, you know, focusing on. And I was focusing on because I was feeling so much better. I don't know what it was, but I was not happy about it. So I ended up going home 2 days later. I've been resting. I haven't been working. I've just kind of been, you know, hanging around home and just doing bits and pieces. Like today's probably the first time that I've actually done my makeup and my hair, and I felt good even though I've got a hoodie on. But yeah, so that happened, and I keep on saying a lot. What else happened? So I come home, everything's fine. I've been recovering. I rang my neurologist, and he said, look, how about you come up here so we can have a review, and then you can get an MRI, because I haven't had one for a year, but I've had one every year for the past 3 years prior. And that was for the lesions on my brain, which have grown over time. So I'm kind of due for an MRI anyway, but just to see what damage was done and blah, 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 which I don't feel like any damage was done because I feel good. Whatever happened to me, I'm kind of more leaning towards a seizure because I do have seizures. I've had seizures in the past, and maybe I just woke up and that's what happened to me. I'm not sure, you know, about the face or what happened. I'm not sure, but I think maybe it could have been a massive seizure and I've woken up afterwards, or yeah. So anyway, I got home, rang him. He wanted to do a review, which I've got an appointment on the 11th of October, so I'll see him then. But then I'm also seeing a MS specialist. Her name is Dr. Hodgkinson, and she's at Liverpool Hospital. And she has like over 400 patients, all different kinds of MS. I'm going to see her with all my test results, and then she can decide what treatment I'm going to be on, which is really cool, to finally get someone that understands what's happening to me, because like in the hospital they said I'm really complex, and you know, the best person to speak to after this is either the MS specialist who deals with autoimmune diseases as well as MS, or my neurologist, Dr. Patel. So, which is really good because, you know, they know a lot about it. The town that we're in, we don't have many neurologists or anything like that. We're not lucky enough to have that down here. So I'm going to see her as soon as possible. They've fast tracked my what do you call it, referral, whatever you want to call it. They triage it before they give you a date when they want to see you. So that's happened. So I'm just waiting on a phone call about that. In the meantime, I'm just taking it one day at a time. It's the best thing I can do. I do believe that stress has caused this to happen. There's been a lot of stress in my life the last few months, and it's really taken a toll on me, our family, and you know, it's not something I really want to talk about, but it's really taken a toll on my body. So that's one thing that I need to do, is start looking after my body, and I think that's my number one priority right now, is to look after me, because if there's no me, then I can't look after my kids, like, you know what I mean? So I really need to start eating right, which I have been. I've been eating just chicken and salads. I've been, you know, just trying to rest and do small things just to keep me going. But I just thought I would let you guys in on that. It's been a pretty scary experience. Like I said, I wouldn't wish anything like that upon anyone. Illnesses suck, and especially invisible illnesses that you can't see. You know, just because you look fine doesn't mean that you're always okay. There's so many illnesses out there that you cannot physically see. And so many people live day to day, and even though they look okay, or they do their hair nice, or do their makeup, people don't take them seriously just because they think, well, you don't look sick. I know plenty of people that have invisible illnesses, and, you know, they struggle day to day and they look fine. So, you know, never judge a book by its cover, because you never know what someone's dealing with or what illnesses they're dealing with. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little clip, and I will start uploading a bit more frequently. I think if you've got any topics that you want me to talk to you guys about, just comment down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in our next video. Bye.